Snark Squad. Babes, it's Wednesday.
We made it.
We are halfway through the week, so happy fucking week, babes.
Seriously.
This is for the gals, the guys, the gays, the theys. This is for you.
Literally all of you.
It is early. Like, babes, why are we awake?
I am questioning all of my life choices right now.
But also, the blogs. Stay giving.
Always.
Oh, thank you, reality TV gods. We are fed.
Oh, we are fully dining at a buffet today.
We need to say something. The DMs.
Going crazy away.
My phone is actually melting.
And we fucking love it. So let's get into it. Shady, snarky, or stupid?
Yes. Let's get right into the mess. For those of you just joining us in this, chaotic midweek spiral, the concept of this segment is very simple.
So simple.
You send us your mess, the absolute wildest things hitting your feeds, the spirals in your group chats, and we judge it with love, obviously.
Obviously with love.
But we render a strict verdict. Is it shady, is it snarky, or is it just plain stupid?
I love judging things. And today, we actually have a central theme emerging from the inbox. We are taking a deep dive into the absolute collision of, reality TV producing and real-world consequences.
Oh my God, the line is completely gone. It's just erased.
Totally erased. We're looking at court documents, PR maneuvers, and leaked podcast audio to figure out where the reality ends and the producing begins.
I am so ready for this. Okay, submission 1. It is messy relationship drama with an unexpected twist.
And you know we love a twist.
We live for it. So a listener DMs us about the summer house implosion. Obviously, we are all collectively unwell over this love triangle between Amanda Batula, Wes Wilson, and Kyle Cook.
Completely unwell.
Right. But this listener points out a very specific layer of this, like lasagna of chaos. The twist is that Kyle and Amanda are getting divorced without a prenup.
No prenups.
No prenup. And amidst all of this, Kyle was literally caught doing a random street interview holding actual dog poop in a bag while admitting on camera, quote, "I'm a mess."
Which is just, the most tragic corporate portrait I've ever seen.
It really is. And I react with pure emotion to this because, first of all, I feel awful for Ciara Miller being caught in the crossfire of this Amanda and West hookup, which we will get into later.
Well, we will absolutely get into that.
But looking at Kyle, holding dog feces, having no prenup after building Loverboy, going through this incredibly public, humiliating separation, I just feel for the guy.
You do? Wait, really?
Yes. Because when you build a company from the ground up and your entire brand is like fun, partying, summer, and a canfall, the juxtaposition of standing on a dirty Manhattan sidewalk holding a literal bag of crap while your personal life disintegrates is devastating. It breaks my heart a little bit.
See, I look at this and my empathy reserves are just completely dry. I look at this purely analytically.
You are so cool.
I am pragmatic. It is a PR disaster of epic proportions, but it's also completely self-inflicted.
How so?
Let's break down the mechanics of what a prenup actually does in New York State, because people misunderstand it. A prenup isn't just a document that says, I keep my stuff and you get nothing.
Right. It's not always malicious.
Exactly. It is a predetermined roadmap for asset division. And Loverboy is a massive asset. Amanda has been involved. She's modeled for it. She's designed merchandise for it.
She literally designed all the merch.
Right. So by not having a prenup, Kyle has essentially opted into the default marital property laws of the state, which means a judge or a very expensive team of forensic accountants gets to decide the valuation of his life's work.
Oh my God, because without that roadmap, everything they built during the marriage is considered joint marital property.
Bingo.
And Loverboy's valuation has to be like millions of dollars at this point, right? They are in every grocery store.
Literally every aisle. And regarding the optics, you are a CEO. You are the face of an alcohol brand. You are going through the most high-profile Bravo divorce of the year.
The highest.
And you allow a street interviewer, someone just shoving a microphone in your face for TikTok engagement, to capture you holding literal excrement while you confess you are a mess. It's negligence.
Okay, but wait.
No, listen. When you are the walking billboard for your company, your public image is your equity. So I am rendering my verdict immediately. This is not shady. It's not snarky. It is unequivocally, emphatically stupid.
I hear what you're saying about the legal negligence, but I have to push back on the PR angle. Isn't there something humanizing about the dog poop?
Humanizing? Are we serious right now?
Hear me out. We have watched Kyle scream about 15-page emails and act like a rigid control freak for almost a decade.
That is true.
So seeing him disheveled, performing basic dog owner duties, and admitting he is failing it actually made me soften toward him. It strips away the whole TV villain edit and just leaves a broken guy.
It's an interesting point, like the vulnerability strategy.
Yes.
But there is a massive difference between a calculated vulnerability tour, like doing a sit-down interview on a major podcast, and just like word vomiting your pain to a random influencer on the street.
All right.
One is producing your own narrative. The other is just losing control of the wheel. Stupid it remains.
Okay, we will agree to disagree on the PR strategy of dog feces.
Fair enough.
Moving on to submission 2. This one is friend chaos that escalates so quickly my head spun. A listener DMs us about the sudden, icy freezing out of Jennifer Tilly by Garcelle Beauvais.
The Beverly Hills freeze out.
Sure.
A tale as old as time.
Yes, it is brutal. So the escalation here is wild. On a recent episode of Watch What Happens Live, Jennifer Tilly basically confirmed that Garcelle is completely ghosting her.
Which is so awkward.
Beyond awkward.
So to give everyone the context, remember on RHOBH when Jennifer confronted her longtime bestie Sutton Strack about being selfish?
Vividly.
Right, and Jennifer kind of implied that Sutton's self-centeredness was part of why Garcelle abruptly left the show. Well, Jennifer reached out to Garcelle a bunch of times after she walked out of that reunion.
And crickets?
They had a little conversation at first, but since then, absolute ice. Jennifer tried to schedule lunch. Garcelle canceled. Jennifer tried to schedule dinner. Garcelle canceled.
3 strikes. Literally.
Yeah.
Jennifer sat on live television and compared the situation to the book. He's just not that into you. She said after the 3rd cancellation, she realized Garcelle just wants to move on.
The profound discomfort of having to admit that you are being left on red while sitting next to Andy Cohen on live television.
I am heartbroken for her.
Yeah.
I really am. She is this absolute icon, an Academy Award nominee. She came onto the show as a friend of...
Right. Doing them a favor, basically.
Exactly. She was just trying to navigate this deeply toxic group dynamic, and now she's being ghosted by someone she really cared about. It is so sad.
It is cold.
I hate when adult friendships just end with canceled dinner reservations and radio silence. It triggers my rejection sensitivity so badly. It feels like junior high.
Yeah.
Just text her back and say, like, I need space.
Again, we are looking at the exact same data and coming to completely different conclusions.
How could you disagree with this?
Because I am taking notes from Garcelle Beauvais. This isn't about junior high rejection. This is about understanding the mechanics of reality television.
What do you mean?
Garcelle is operating with ruthless clinical efficiency here. Think about what a friendship on Real Housewives actually requires. It requires you to film together, to dissect your trauma on camera, and to engage in conflict to secure your spot.
So center diamond, yeah.
Right. Garcelle left that toxic environment to protect her peace.
But she doesn't have to film with Jennifer. They can just get lunch as real friends off camera.
Can they, though? I mean, Jennifer went on camera and blamed her other best friend, Sutton, for Garcelle leaving. She used Garcelle's exit as ammunition in a scene.
Oh, that's true.
Why would Garcelle want to wade back into that? Every off-camera lunch in Beverly Hills eventually becomes on-camera collateral.
That is so dark, but true.
If you text a housewife, you have to assume that text will be printed out on poster board at the reunion. Garcelle knows the game. 3 strikes, you are out of the group chat. Canceled lunch, canceled dinner, ignored texts. It's a flawless lesson in boundary setting.
Okay, wow.
My verdict, this is shady. It is a deeply shady ghosting, but I absolutely respect the execution.
You are so ruthless today. But honestly, when you frame it like that every text is just future reunion evidence, I kind of get it. Shady it is.
Exactly. What is submission 3?
Okay, submission 3. This one is full chaos. Borderline unbelievable. A listener DMs us about the brand new Real Housewives of Rhode Island star, Kelsey Swanson.
The Rhode Island lore is already moving at warp speed. I'm obsessed.
It is delivering. So Kelsey is rumored to be dating John Caprio. Yes, the son of the late, very famous judge Frank Caprio from those viral traffic court videos.
This is already a wild crossover.
Totally. Now, Kelsey went on Watch What Happens Live and said her mystery boyfriend is a hardcore Housewives fan, knows all the lore, knows exactly when Tom Girardi went to jail, all of it.
A Bravo scholar.
Yes. But here's where it escalates to pure insanity. John's actual family law firm, Caprio Law, posts an Instagram reel.
Wait, no.
Yes. In this reel, they are using the Real Housewives theme song. It features John's daughter, attorney Sophia Caprio Santilli, looking into the camera and saying, quote, "No comment, just counsel."
That is so camp.
And then it seamlessly transitions into an ad for divorce consultations, saying breakups are hard, talking through your options doesn't have to be.
I need to frame this Instagram reel immediately.
It gets crazier. because Kelsey actually commented on this law firm's ad with crying, laughing emojis and raised hands.
Oh my God, she leaned in.
John gave a no comment to the Providence Journal. Sophia gave a let the season unfold comment. And John's ex-wife, Catherine Caprio, went on the record calling the whole show baloney.
Baloney. That is such a Rhode Island word. We are witnessing a collision of the judicial system and Bravo fan fiction.
I am so fundamentally stressed by this. A literal professional family law firm is using Bravo drama, the Real Housewives theme music, and their own father's rumored reality TV girlfriend to market divorce consultations.
And doing it flawlessly.
What happened to professionalism? Think about the vulnerability of someone walking into a family law office. You were going through the hardest moment of your life, splitting assets, fighting for custody, and your lawyer is making shady TikToks, winking at reality TV bloggers. It makes a mockery of the legal process.
And this is where we completely diverge, because I am looking at this law firm and I am seeing absolute genius.
Genius. Are you kidding me?
Let's talk about the business side of this, specifically customer acquisition cost, or CAC.
Oh boy. Here comes the spreadsheet talk.
Listen to me. For a family law firm, acquiring a new client is incredibly expensive. They spend thousands on billboards, targeted Google ads, local radio spots. What Caprio Law just did is tap into a massive, highly engaged, deeply loyal demographic of reality TV fans for free.
But are Bravo fans really their target demographic for divorce proceedings?
Are you kidding?
What?
The Real Housewives franchise is built on the bones of high net worth divorces. The audience is inherently fascinated by asset division, prenups, and legal strategy.
That's painfully true.
The firm didn't confirm their relationship. They just cheekily leaned into the rumor to drive algorithmic engagement. No comment, just counsel is a brilliant tagline. Do you know how much a Manhattan PR firm would charge to engineer a viral, localized pop culture moment like that?
Probably thousands.
Tons of thousands. They capitalized on Kelsey's reality TV debut to flood their intake funnel with consultations. It is the definition of modern marketing. My verdict: snarky. Brilliant, calculated snark from an attorney who understands the attention economy.
Ugh, I understand the metrics, but I still think it cheapens the practice of law. We're going to have to disagree on the ethics of this one.
I will take the brilliant marketing any day.
Fine. Okay, babes, you know what time it is. Before we get into the absolute bloodbath of the daily gossip, it is time for the breakfast check.
Starbucks, of course.
Of course. Snark Squad, I need to know exactly what you were sipping this morning to survive this Wednesday. Send it in the chat, scream it into your steering wheel, because I am holding onto my cup like it is a life preserver.
It's the only thing tethering us to this mortal plane right now.
Exactly. Today, I am emotionally fragile from all these headlines, so I needed a hug and a cup. I got an iced brown sugar oat milkshake and espresso.
Solid choice.
But babes, I couldn't stop there. I added 2 pumps of white mocha and an aggressive, highly irresponsible amount of vanilla sweet cream cold foam.
So basically diabetes in a cup.
It is basically a milkshake masquerading as coffee. Plus, I got the classic butter croissant warmed up because carbs equal comfort.
Naturally.
It's sugar heavy, it's overly complicated, and it perfectly reflects my emotional state regarding this summer house betrayal. I needed the sugar to literally coat my nervous system and brace me for the day. What did you get?
Well, your nervous system is currently processing more syrup than an IHOP on a Sunday morning. I went the complete opposite route.
Let me guess, something terrifying.
I need pure, unadulterated, sharp fuel to dissect the Bravo universe today. I got a nitro cold brew.
Ah, literal battery acid.
No ice, obviously, because ice dilutes the impact and takes up valuable volume in the cup. Just a tiny, calculated splash of sweet cream so the acidity doesn't burn a hole in my stomach lining.
Okay, at least you have the sweet cream.
Paired with the spinach, feta, and egg white wrap. It's functional, it's intense, and it hits my bloodstream like a freight train.
You're so clinical about it.
We fully have a toxic midweek caffeine dependence just to survive the reality TV news cycle. But honestly, without this nitro, I wouldn't have the analytical edge required to unpack the psychological warfare happening over on Bravo right now.
I respect the clinical approach to your caffeine. You need it, because the tea today is scalding. Which brings us to the daily gossip recap.
Let's get into it.
We are diving into everything buzzing in reality TV over the last 24 hours, and we have to start with the story that is single-handedly destroying my faith in female friendship. The Summer House implosion has reached a new, terrifying level, and the spinoff trailer just dropped.
Let's lay out the facts for the squad before we tear it apart. The new Bravo spinoff, In the City, premieres May 19th. It's a 2-hour crossover event dovetailing with the Summer House Season 10 finale.
2 hours.
Yes. It follows core cast members navigating life in Manhattan during the fall. We have Danielle Oliveira, Andrea Denver and his wife Lexi Sundin, Lindsay Hubbard, Kyle Cook, Amanda Batula, and West Wilson.
A stacked cast.
And they're also bringing in a bunch of newbies from their broader friend group, which is giving very much the Valley vibes, trying to capture that lightning in a bottle of actual established off-camera friend groups transitioning to television.
I just love the strategy of bringing in the real friends. But the newbies aren't what has me spiraling. It's the core group.
Oh, they're delivering the mess.
In this trailer, we literally see Kyle asking Amanda, his wife, if she is threatening him over their prenupless divorce. We see Danielle Oliveira fighting off a literal homewrecker label with her new partner Aona Heavy.
Which is wild.
And we see Lindsay Hubbard screaming in tears about watching her friends demolish their relationships while she is trying to navigate being a fiercely independent single mom and still dealing with the fallout of her failed engagement to Carl Radke.
Lindsay is carrying so much on her shoulders.
But the absolute worst part, the part that made me want to throw my sugary espresso at the wall, is seeing Amanda Batula and West Wilson warmly hugging and hooking up on camera.
Which brings us to the collateral damage of the century, Ciara Miller.
I am so devastated for Ciara. My heart is breaking. I'm in a full spiral over this.
It's messy.
The girl code has been completely violently violated. Ciara and Amanda were best friends. They were the core duo holding the house together. Ciara and West had this intense, slow burn flirtation and connection.
Right.
For Amanda to turn around amidst her messy divorce from Kyle, who's allegedly cheating, by the way, and use West as her rebound, it is foul.
Tell us how you really feel.
You cannot rebound with your best friend's lingering situationship. You just can't.
Let's look at how the network is weaponizing this fallout. Reality TV thrives on fractured alliances. And the external reactions to this are fascinating from a PR perspective.
Carl's reaction was crazy.
Yes, Carl Radke, who has had his own issues with Kyle's treatment of him, actually DM'd a Bravo fan page. He DM'd the account She Loves You.
I saw that.
Carl explicitly stated, quote, "We're all confused and crushed for C. It's insane, to be honest." He also took a swipe at Kyle's dog poop interview, hoping the insanity brings light to a sad situation.
Shady.
Carl, inserting himself into the narrative via a fan page DM, is a very calculated way to align himself with the fan favorite.
Because everyone is Team Ciara. Paige DeSorbo is firmly on Ciara's side, supporting her through this very public humiliation. And then you have the Jesse Solomon piece of this, which makes me even more furious at West.
Right, let's unpack the Jesse Solomon podcast interview because it adds a layer of territorial psychology into this mess.
Please explain this to me because I don't get men.
Jesse went on Gia Giudice's Casual Chaos podcast and admitted that he actually wanted to pursue Ciara. He was interested. But he revealed that he backed off because West wasn't totally cool with it. Jesse said he went up to West for a flippant makeout ask in front of other people. West got territorial, and so Jesse backed down to protect his friendship with West.
So stupid.
And now Jesse is kicking himself, saying he regrets how he handled it, he let his feelings get the best of him, and he ended up hurting both of his friends.
I am fuming. Jesse stepped back to protect West's fragile male ego.
Basically.
West wasn't even fully committing to Ciara, but he was territorial enough to block other men from dating her, only to turn around and hook up with her best friend Amanda.
It is the definition of gatekeeping.
It is the most toxic, typical F-boy behavior I have ever witnessed. And poor Ciara was just sitting there probably wondering why Jesse suddenly pulled away, not knowing these men were treating her like literal territory. Makes me sick.
Well, the real masterclass in how not to handle a PR crisis comes from West himself. How does he handle being the most hated man on Bravo right now?
God.
Does he hire a crisis manager? Does he issue a carefully crafted notes app apology explaining his timeline?
No.
No. He returns to the grid with a completely tone-deaf pivot. He posted his first Instagram selfie since the scandal broke, hanging out with internet personality Lucas Brody in downtown Indianapolis.
Indianapolis?
No context, just a casual selfie, as if the entire Bravo universe isn't burning down around him.
It is so tone-deaf. Read the room, West. Indianapolis. Who cares? You cannot just pretend nothing is happening when the Bravo fan base is actively organizing against you.
But the piece of resistance of this entire social media return is the comment section.
Oh, the comment section.
An account caught a comment made by Lindsay Hubbard on West's post. She wrote, quote, "Let's do a whiteboard about WW and explain everything to you. I'll lead the charge. Reunion warm-up."
Lindsay is terrifying, and I love her for it.
It is an incredible display of reality TV warfare. Lindsay Hubbard is publicly threatening to bring out a whiteboard to dissect West's behavior at the upcoming Season 10 reunion.
She is not playing.
That isn't just a threat. That is a promise of complete annihilation. If you want to survive a Bravo reunion, it's not enough to just yell over people. You need exhibits, you need printed text messages, you need timelines.
Receipts.
Exactly. Lindsay weaponizing the comment section to build hype for his destruction is brilliant producing on her part. She is telling the audience, tune in, because I have the evidence.
He deserves the whiteboard. I hope she brings markers in different colors to map out exactly how many times he lied to Ciara.
So colorful.
But honestly, I have to ask you, why are you being so clinical about this? Don't you feel any sympathy for Amanda in this situation?
Let me push back on your outrage for a second. Are we being too hard on West and Amanda?
No.
If we strip away the girl code emotion and just look at human behavior, if the rumors are true and Kyle was allegedly cheating on Amanda, doesn't Amanda deserve a soft landing? She has been put through the ringer by Kyle for years. We all watched him scream at her, belittle her career ambitions, and now they are divorcing with no prenup, leaving her completely vulnerable.
That is awful, yes.
So if West is the fun, goofy guy who makes her feel seen and safe in the wake of a traumatic divorce, why are we vilifying her for seeking comfort?
I completely disagree. I am not vilifying her for seeking a rebound. Go get a rebound. Go get 10 rebounds.
Okay.
Download Raya. Walk into a bar in Manhattan. There are literally millions of men in a city. You do not seek comfort in the arms of the guy who just broke your best friend's heart.
It's convenient, though.
The rebound cannot be your best friend's lingering situationship.
Yeah.
That is a fundamental violation of the social contract of female friendships. You just don't cross that line.
I suppose the proximity makes for better television, but terrible real-life alliances.
Terrible.
We're talking about women navigating the absolute wreckage of their personal lives on camera, which brings us perfectly to a legendary feud rising from the grave over on the West Coast.
Oh my God, the Beverly Hills chaos. Babes, Brandi Glanville has entered the chat, and when Brandi enters, she kicks the door off the hinges.
She doesn't just kick the door, she levels the entire zip code. So the context here for the squad. The current season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 15, is airing.
That's a lot.
The central conflict right now is Dorit Kemsley versus Kyle Richards, and Erika Jayne is caught in the crossfire. Dorit is going through a very messy public divorce from PK Kemsley.
Which we all saw coming.
Right. At a recent dinner on the show, Dorit completely ignored newbie Amanda Francis, acknowledged everyone else, and has been acting generally erratic. Kyle and Boz St. John have been calling out Dorit's behavior.
And out of nowhere, Brandi Glanville logs on to X and decides to become Dorit's knight in shining armor.
A very chaotic night.
And her defense of Dorit is the most unhinged, iconic Brandi behavior ever. I cannot stop laughing at this tweet. I need to read it verbatim so the Snark Squad understands the absolute poetry of it.
Please do.
Brandi tweets, quote, "Leave Dorit alone. When I was in her place, I got a brand new vagina and put it on my ex-husband's Amex. We all are a little erratic when we are heartbroken and going through divorce. Team Dorito."
A brand new vagina on the ex-husband's Amex. Put it in the Louvre.
It is the most Brandi thing to ever happen. I am obsessed with the radical honesty.
She is shameless.
She is basically saying, hey, divorce makes you crazy. I bought a new body part on Eddie Cibrian's dime. Cut Dorit some slack. It is hilarious and so deeply relatable to anyone who has wanted to be petty during a breakup.
Absolutely.
But then she takes a very dark, serious turn in the follow-up tweets.
Right, because defending Dorit wasn't enough. She had to aim the artillery at Kyle Richards.
Always.
Brandi tweeted that Dorit could, quote, end Kyle, and then dropped this absolute bombshell. She wrote, "I could have blown up the family with my voice messages that I will save forever and never share. Just saying, I'm just not trying to ruin people's lives." And then in a third tweet, she suggests the reason Erika Jayne is siding with Kyle over Dorit is because Erika realized that Kyle is actually a producer on RHOBH.
The shadow producer theory. I feel like Brandi is just stirring the pot for attention.
You think so?
She always does this when a season is airing and she's not on it. She drops these vague threats about secret audio and receipts, but she never actually produces them. I think she's just bored, sitting at home, and wants people to talk about her.
Let's analyze the mechanics of this shadow producer claim, because this is where the fourth wall of reality television completely shatters.
Break it down.
This is not a new claim from Brandi. She said this exact same thing back in July of last year, that Kyle gets an easy cut because she's secretly producing, and that Kyle's own family members told Brandi this tea.
Which is wild if true.
But how does a cast member act as a shadow producer? It means steering conversations at group events so the cameras catch the reaction, setting up the call sheets, and most importantly, protecting your own storylines by feeding the producers other people's drama.
Throwing them under the bus, basically.
Exactly. Kyle has historically driven the narrative on RHOBH. And regarding Brandi stirring the pot for attention, let me ask you this. If Brandi didn't have actual tangible leverage, why does the entire Beverly Hills cast continuously tiptoe around her off-camera?
Wait.
Think about it. We have seen them terrified of what Brandi might say for years. Those voice notes definitely exist. Brandi is holding a loaded gun of opposition research, and she just rattled the chamber so the network could hear it.
That gives me chills. I never thought about it like that. You really think she has audio that could ruin Kyle's life?
I think in Beverly Hills, information is currency, and Brandi has a Swiss bank account full of it.
Wow.
But Brandi isn't the only one launching attacks from outside the show. The podcast wars are escalating into actual cast takedowns.
Yes, 2 T's in a pod. Tamra Judge and Teddy Mellencamp decided to use their platform to absolutely tear down the newest RHOBH cast member, Rachel Zoe.
This was a clinical, surgical dismantling. Podcasting has essentially become the new reality TV confessional where fired or current housewives can control the narrative without editors interfering.
It's basically a secondary show.
Exactly. Teddy and Tamra were dissecting the recent episode where Dorrit was being, as Tamra elegantly put it, fucking rude for her chronic lateness and for skipping over Amanda Francis at dinner.
So rude.
Teddy recalled her very first fight with Dorrit was actually about Dorrit being late to a scene, prompting Teddy to just leave. But the real target was Rachel Zoe.
They went all in on Rachel. They accused Rachel of basically using her young children for a storyline.
Which is a huge accusation.
Massive.
Yeah.
Tamra was saying how uncomfortable it is that in every single scene Rachel films with her kids, she brings up their dad. Tamra was mimicking her, like, so how's it going with your dad?
I heard that.
Teddy agreed, saying it feels like Rachel is prepping the kids or waiting for them to say something bad about her ex because Rachel is annoyed at him. They were implying Rachel is trying to orchestrate a negative narrative about her ex through her children on camera.
And beyond the parenting critique, they went after Rachel's alliance with Dorrit. Tamra was shocked that Rachel didn't call out Dorrit's mean girl behavior toward Amanda Francis.
Why would she? They are friends.
Well, Teddy brilliantly and shadily diagnosed the friendship. She said they only bond because they bond over shopping and they're both getting divorced.
Ouch.
It minimizes Rachel's entire identity and pedigree to basic consumerism and a failed marriage.
I actually feel really gross about Rachel Zoe's kids being dragged into a podcast discussion. Like, leave the kids out of it.
It's definitely a line.
Rachel is going through a very public, very raw divorce. When you film a reality show, the cameras are in your house for months. Maybe she's just trying to navigate these difficult conversations with her children and the cameras happen to be there. It feels so low to accuse a mother of weaponizing her kids for Bravo screen time.
Okay, but let's pause and look at the absolute irony radiating from the 2T studio right now. I am throwing major shade at Teddy and Tamra here.
Do it.
You have Tamra Judge, a woman who has a highly publicized, deeply strained, essentially estranged relationship with her own daughter, largely because of her behavior on reality television, sitting on a microphone critiquing another woman's on-camera parenting.
Oh, God.
The hypocrisy is staggering. Tamra lecturing Rachel Zoe about making her kids uncomfortable on camera is like a pyromaniac giving a seminar on fire safety.
Oh, my God, you went straight for the jugular.
Yeah.
But it's true. The lack of self-awareness is astounding.
Ideal in facts. And the fact is, the 2Ts are threatened by Rachel Zoe because she's a massive, high-profile get for the franchise, and they are on the outside looking in.
Everything these women do is a chess move to stay relevant. Which brings us over to the East Coast, because we need to talk about women who are securing the bag and controlling their own narratives. Let's talk about Atlanta and Rhode Island.
Yes. The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17 has premiered, and the return on investment for the network is already incredibly high. Portia Williams is back, holding a peach, and she is officially dating a woman, Patrice Sway McKinney.
I am living for this. I am so emotional and genuinely happy for Portia.
It's a great storyline.
After the disastrous, tumultuous marriage to Simon Guobadia, Portia did an interview in December with people saying she didn't want to hide any parts of herself anymore. She wants to live in her truth, and she has found this warm, comfortable connection with Sway.
Very sweet.
And the best part, Phaedra Parks is fully supporting it.
The triumphant return of frickin' frack.
Yes, Phaedra did an interview with The Cider, and she was so surprisingly open-minded and supportive. She said, quote, "Girl, have at it." She called Sway the sweetest, most handsomely gorgeous woman.
Handsomely gorgeous.
She literally said, if she wants to get in that pond, have it. Dig in. 2 scoops at a time. I just love seeing women support women finding love, especially when it's such a vulnerable new chapter for Portia on camera. I am rooting for Sway.
Okay, that is a beautiful, heartwarming narrative for the blogs. Now let's look at the actual reality TV mechanics happening beneath the surface, because it is messy.
Don't ruin this for me.
Yes, Portia is hard-launching Sway now. However, during the season 17 premiere, Portia hosted an event and brought a male date named Mike Anthony.
Oh, right, the guy at the party.
During the episode, Portia's castmates were super confused because Mike was acting like the host of the event, thanking guests for coming and acting very familiar.
Right, and it got so weird after the episode aired.
It got bizarre. A video surfaced on Instagram shared by the Bravo Shade Room in Country Wayne where Mike Anthony is doing a skit. In this skit, he is talking to a guy who tells him a producer said they need a guy to be a love interest on RHOA, and it would be great for Mike's brand and following. Mike agrees to do it. The blogs instantly catch fire. Is Portia's premiere date a paid actor? Did she hire a boyfriend for the cameras?
And Portia had to jump into the comments immediately. She commented on the post saying, quote, "Absolutely false story. This is a skit filmed after Rose season."
And you actually buy that PR spin.
I want to defend Portia. I think she doesn't need to hire a man when she has Sway.
But the timeline.
Maybe she was just testing the waters with Mike early in the season before realizing she wanted to fully commit to Sway. And Mike is just a thirsty actor trying to capitalize on his 5 minutes of screen time by making a skit about it. He's just clout chasing.
I am highly suspicious. Let me analytically break down the "it was just a comedy skit" defense. When a reality star is caught potentially hiring fake talent or staging a storyline, claiming the leaked evidence is just a skit is the oldest, most desperate PR spin in the playbook. It ranks right up there with "my account was hacked." The timeline simply doesn't make sense if she's genuinely in love. Portia is a veteran reality star. She knows she needs a compelling premiere storyline to justify her massive salary return.
That is true. She got paid a lot to come back.
She brings a random actor to play host at her party, then suddenly pivots to a deeply authentic, emotional same-sex relationship. She was testing storylines, testing audience reaction, and making sure she had multiple narrative threads to secure her center peach. It's not a crime, it's just producing your own life.
You think she produced the whole Mike Anthony thing just a backup storyline?
Absolutely. Just like the newest RHOA cast member, Pinky Cole, is producing her own entrance to the franchise.
Oh, Pinky Cole, the founder of Slutty Vegan. She is fascinating.
Very.
She came into the premiere seeming very calm, kind of observing the bickering between Portia and Kelly Farrell. But she did this interview with the Baltimore Banner where she said she has enough drama in my own life for a whole spinoff.
And she is not exaggerating. The financial tea here is piping hot and complex. Pinky expanded her restaurant empire, Slutty Vegan, to 14 locations, but she faced $20 million in debt.
$20 million.
She lost her business to creditors, stepped down as CEO in 2025, filed for Chapter 11 personal bankruptcy in 2026, and literally had her Georgia home seized by a property management company before winning it back in court.
That is so incredibly stressful. I cannot even imagine the weight of losing an empire you built from the ground up, dealing with bankruptcy, almost losing your home. And to choose to go on reality television while navigating that, it requires a level of bravery or absolute delusion.
It requires an understanding of the assignment. And we need to clarify what Chapter 11 actually is, because people hear bankruptcy and think of someone destitute on the street, which is Chapter 7 liquidation.
Oh, right, there's a difference.
Chapter 11 is a reorganization bankruptcy. It allows a business or individual to keep operating while they restructure their debt under court supervision. Pinky Cole knows exactly what she's doing. This is brilliant reality TV strategy.
Because she's controlling it.
Exactly. If you are bankrupt, if your business is failing, if your house is being seized, put it on camera yourself before the blogs do. Control the narrative. She said she plans to show the highs and lows of entrepreneurship.
That is smart.
By owning her Chapter 11 bankruptcy as a storyline, she turns a humiliation into a relatable comeback arc.
Ow.
Plus, the Bravo salary helps appease the creditors. We saw Teresa Giudice do it. We saw Sandra Morgan do it. It's genius.
It is taking control of your life. She is steering the ship instead of letting the blog sink it, just like Kelsey Swanson is trying to take control of her life over on Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
We're right. Back to Rhode Island.
We talked about the Caprio law firm mess, but Kelsey is also dealing with these intense rumors that she was an escort 10 years ago. Screenshots of alleged profiles were circulating online, and she formally denied it in an Instagram comment, saying the pages were completely made up and that state police were involved.
The fact that state police were allegedly involved over fake escort profiles 10 years ago tells me Kelsey Swanson is going to be a top-tier housewife.
She is an icon already.
The lore is already too deep. She's bringing federal investigations to her first season.
She is giving us everything. But, babes, while Portia and Pinky and Kelsey are giving us this fun, chaotic, easily digestible reality TV drama where the stakes are just egos and bank accounts,
Yeah.
things over on Hulu are getting shockingly dark. And we need to take a collective breath and shift gears to talk about what is happening with the secret lives of Mormon wives.
Yes. We need to shift the tone here because this has escalated significantly beyond Snark.
Way beyond.
The future of Solomon W. Season 5 is currently up in the air, according to cast member Chase McWhorter, who, by the way, recently kissed Jesse Draper at a party, despite being married to her co-star Miranda, which is a whole other mess that involved Jesse sending apology flowers.
Which is wild, but compared to the rest of it.
Right. The infidelity is a trivial sideshow. The reason production is paused is the severe, terrifying legal battle between Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota Mortensen.
I have to drop the snark for a minute because I am genuinely horrified and so deeply sad for Taylor and especially for the children involved. This is not fun Bravo drama.
Not at all.
This is not a spilled drink at a dinner party. This is a real-life safety issue playing out in the courts.
Let's lay out the timeline from the court documents obtained by TMZ and Us Weekly, because the legal mechanisms here are heavy. In March, Dakota was granted a temporary restraining order against Taylor, and he was awarded temporary custody of their 2-year-old son, Ever.
God.
This stemmed from a domestic assault investigation by the Draper City Police regarding incidents on February 24th and 25th of 2026.
Right. And now Taylor is fighting back. She just filed for a counter-restraining order against Dakota, and the evidence she submitted is just, it makes my stomach turn.
It's incredibly grim.
She submitted photos of bruises on her knee from an alleged assault on February 23rd. She submitted photos of injuries from a prior alleged assault back in May 2025. She is alleging that Dakota slammed her head into a car dashboard. And she also submitted possessive sex from him, including a message where he allegedly asked her to have sex right after the February incident where she got the bruised knee. When she denied his sexual advances, she claims he then called the police.
It is a textbook depiction of a toxic, potentially abusive cycle where law enforcement is weaponized, and historical context is crucial here. The police in West Jordan, Utah, are also reviewing video footage regarding another domestic violence incident from 2024.
Get that pattern.
And we cannot forget that Taylor's highly anticipated season of The Bachelorette was abruptly canceled by Disney and ABC after a leaked video from 2023 surfaced showing Taylor throwing bar stools at Dakota, with one stool allegedly hitting her daughter.
I remember that video leaking.
She actually received a plea in abeyance to felony aggravated assault for that 2023 incident.
Wait, what is a plea in abeyance? Does that mean she plead guilty?
Essentially, yes. A plea in abeyance means you plead guilty, but the court holds the conviction in suspense. If you complete certain conditions like probation, domestic violence classes, or rehab, the charge is ultimately dismissed or reduced.
Okay, so she admitted it.
It's a way for first-time offenders to avoid a permanent felony record, but the admission of guilt is still recorded.
That is so dark. When I look at those photos of the bruises and I read her representative's statement about her suffering silently from extensive mental and physical abuse and threats of retaliation, my heart just shatters. Nobody deserves to live in terror.
No.
No child deserves to witness their parents throwing chairs or slamming heads into dashboards. It is a cycle of violence, and the fact that it was playing out in front of reality TV cameras is just sickening to me.
From an analytical standpoint, we have to look at how the corporate networks handle this level of liability. Disney and ABC instantly pulled the plug on The Bachelorette.
Right away.
They spent millions producing that season, and they shelved it the moment that 2023 chair-throwing video leaked. A Disney spokesperson explicitly said their focus was on supporting the family, but the subtext is purely corporate risk management.
Obviously.
The Walt Disney Company will not associate its flagship romance brand with documented domestic violence. They protected the brand immediately.
As they should. You cannot have someone starring on a show about finding true love when there is video evidence of them throwing heavy furniture at their partner. It is completely antithetical to the brand.
But that brings us to Hulu and the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Hulu is also owned by Disney, but it operates as the edgier, adult-oriented streaming platform.
That's true.
Can a show that was essentially built on silly Momtok dances, soft-swinging rumors, and soda shops survive this level of dark, legal, documented domestic violence?
I don't think it can, and I don't think it should.
Let me pose a question to you and to the Snark Squad listening. What is the ethical responsibility of a reality television network in 2026? Should reality TV document this to show the gritty, terrifying reality of toxic relationships? Is there sociological value in airing this so other women or men in abusive situations feel seen and realize they need to get out? Or is it too irresponsible, too dangerous to keep paying these two people, keeping them in the spotlight, and funding a lifestyle when they are clearly in a dangerous violent spiral?
It is 100% irresponsible.
Yeah.
Cameras need to stay down permanently. You cannot exploit domestic violence for Hulu subscriptions.
It's a very fine line.
When children are involved, when temporary custody is being shifted by a judge, when restraining orders and photos of bruises are entering the public domain, reality TV has no place there. It stops being a television show and starts being complicit in the danger. The cameras escalate the ego, they escalate the pressure, and the paychecks fund the toxicity. Shut it down for the safety of those kids, full stop.
It is a profound dilemma for the producers, because the voyeurism of the audience is what funds the industry, but at what cost to the human subjects?
Exactly.
It really makes you wonder what these reality stars are actually signing up for when they sign those boilerplate contracts. What are they trading for? A paycheck? Which actually brings us perfectly to some major behind-the-scenes tea about the literal financial cost of being on TV. Let's lighten the mood slightly and talk about the origins of Bravo paychecks, because the economics of early reality TV are wild.
Yes, please. I need to recalibrate my emotions. Let's talk about the money, because Reza Farahan's new book, Memoirs of a Gay Shah, My Story of Family, Fame, and Becoming a King, just dropped today.
A phenomenal title.
And he is spilling the absolute tea on what it was like filming season 1 of Shahs of Sunset.
The economics of early Bravo are fascinating, and Reza breaks it down beautifully. In the memoir, Reza reveals that for season 1, the cast was being paid 4-figure checks per episode.
4 figures.
Meaning somewhere between $1,000 and $9,000. But as Reza points out, the network expected them to maintain this hyper-wealthy, ritzy Beverly Hills appearance. He wrote about feeling pressured to buy Christian Louboutin shoes, noting that his minuscule per-episode check couldn't even cover the cost of one pair of designer shoes.
Oh my God, the glamour of reality TV is such an illusion. He said they literally filmed his confessional interviews in a storage closet.
A literal closet.
A literal storage closet. And the camera person was doing his makeup because they didn't have a legit makeup artist on set. Imagine trying to serve rich Persian elite while the boom mic operator is dusting your face with translucent powder next to a mop bucket. I am dying.
He explicitly accused Bravo of trying to keep a thumb on the cast. He wrote that the network wants to keep the talent in the dark so they don't realize their value and ask for more money.
So shady.
It's classic corporate suppression. You isolate the talent, pay them pennies, and promise them exposure. But the cast wised up. Ahead of season 3, Bravo offered a tiny raise, and the cast revolted. They banded together and demanded a favored nations contract.
Okay, I read Reza's book, and what struck me about the favored nations clause isn't just the money, it's how it forces the cast to stop fighting each other behind the scenes and essentially unionize against Bravo. It completely changes the power dynamic.
Exactly. For those who aren't familiar with entertainment law, a favored nations clause is basically like a sports team salary cap combined with a union strike. It ensures that no one in the cast can be paid more than you.
Everyone is equal.
Right. Everyone agrees to tie their compensation together at the highest tier. So the network can't pull one star aside and say, we'll pay you double if you freeze out your friend. By banding together, Reza said their per-episode salary jumped 6 or 7 times higher. They went from 4 digits per episode to 5 digits. They changed their lives through collective bargaining.
I love that for them. Know your worth and add tax. Stop letting the networks divide and conquer. And it just goes to show how far Bravo has come. Because speaking of the origins of Bravo, the Real Housewives of Orange County is celebrating 20 years on the air. 20 years.
2 decades of screaming in gated communities, a cultural milestone.
Literally. And Vicki Gunvalson, the absolute OG of the OC, did an interview revealing how she got cast all those years ago. Producer Scott Dunlop literally knocked on her front door in Coto de Casa.
Just walked right up.
He was pitching a show kind of like The Osbournes or Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Vicki iconically slammed the door in his face.
Of course she did.
She told him she had a headphone in her ear, she was busy working selling insurance, and he was bugging her. It was only because her teenage son Michael intervened and wrote a letter to the producer that Vicki agreed to do it. And she only did it because her then-husband Don wasn't interested, and Vicki's response was, quote, "You can't tell me what to do."
And a multi-million-dollar reality television empire was born out of pure, unadulterated spite toward Don Gunvalson.
I am so nostalgic over Vicki slamming the door on Bravo history. It's just perfectly her. But I have to ask you, hearing about Reza in the storage closet making pennies, do you think 4 figures an episode is worth selling your soul and your privacy to a network?
Analytically, it's an investment strategy. You endure the storage closet and the low pay for season 1 to build the leverage for the 5-figure checks in season 3.
Play the long game.
Exactly. You use the platform to build businesses outside the show, like Loverboy or Slutty Vegan.
Yeah.
But speaking of enduring uncomfortable situations for airtime, we have to touch on Below Deck Down Under, because there is nothing more uncomfortable than the psychology of forced proximity on a super yacht.
Oh, the yachties. The boatmances are brewing, babes.
A very bizarre, seemingly one-sided love triangle is taking shape. Daisy Kelleher found out via Alicia Harris that João Franco actually likes her, but there is a massive obstacle.
A huge obstacle.
Ellie Dubach likes João, and João has already made out with Ellie.
And Ellie is terrifying. Daisy literally said in her confessional that Ellie has marked her territory because Ellie gave João a massage on the yacht.
A classic move.
Daisy joked that Ellie is petrifying and said, quote, "Now she's really going to stab me in my sleep. She's going to bake him a birthday cake." Daisy is terrified to make a move on João because Ellie is so intensely territorial.
Let's talk about the psychology of a yachty massage. Ellie marking her territory by giving a guy a back rub on a super yacht is the most aggressively basic, transparent power move of all time.
It really is.
It is mammalian. It is basically projecting to the entire crew, "I have touched his trapezius muscles, he belongs to me now." And the fact that Daisy, who is usually so confident and commands an entire interior department, is paralyzed by the fear of Ellie baking a revenge birthday cake is hilarious.
I relate so hard to Daisy, though. Have you ever been around a girl who has decided a guy is hers, even if they aren't exclusively dating? The energy is terrifying. You do not cross a woman who has given a man a deep tissue massage. She has invested physical labor. She will ruin your life. The territoriality on those boats is amplified because you literally cannot escape each other.
Nowhere to hide.
You sleep in bunks the size of coffins. You work 18-hour shifts together. The stakes for a boatman's gone wrong are so much higher than a regular office romance.
It's a pressure cooker of pheromones, sleep deprivation, and alcohol, but it makes for excellent television.
It really does. Babes, we have survived the mess of the week. From storage closets to securing the bag, from dog poop on the sidewalk to restraining orders in court, we made it through the daily gossip.
Let's take a massive metaphorical breath. The caffeine is coursing through my veins and my analytical processors are finally cooling down.
Yes, bringing the energy back to our coffee-fueled survival. I just want to shout out the Snark squad again for the absolute DM chaos this week.
You guys are the best.
You guys are the FBI, the CIA, and MI6 combined. The reality TV gods truly gave us a feast today. My brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso is officially empty, and that sugar rush is the only thing powering me through the back half of this Wednesday.
The Nitro Cold Brew did its job. We dissected the corpses of these reality TV scandals with precision.
Smart Squad, I need to know your thoughts. Talk to us. Which story was the absolute wildest to you? Was it Brandy's Amex new vagina confession? Or the devastating summer house betrayal with Amanda and West?
Or was it the Caprio law firm turning housewives rumors into billable hours?
Let us know. And tell me, what are you sipping this morning to get through it? Drop your ridiculous coffee orders in the comments so I feel less alone about my cold foam addiction. And babes, are we making it through this week or not? Because I am barely hanging on.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you stare into the void of your spreadsheet today.
Oh, give it to us.
Think about this. Between Kyle Richards allegedly producing her own storylines from the shadows, Pinky Cole orchestrating her bankruptcy debut on camera, And the Caprio law firm using housewives drama to sell actual divorces to the public. Are we watching reality TV, or is reality TV just completely producing our actual lives now? The lines aren't just blurred anymore, they are entirely erased.
Ooh, that is so deep and scary. It's like we're all just living in Andy Cohen's simulation. Babes, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us so much.
Send us your stories, send us your mess, and send this deep dive to your most tired bestie who needs a midweek jolt of chaos.
Thank you, Snark Squad, for tuning in and spiraling with us. We love you so much. Stay shady, stay iconic, and we'll see you on the Snark side.